Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. And I guess we're live with another episode of the Rudder Review brought to you by 13K Productions. This is the first time I'm trying out a live Rudder Review. So please be nice to me. It's also Sunday. So I should note that it's been a busy week. I would have filmed a podcast on Tuesday and released it Wednesday, but it's grad season and my brother and girlfriend were graduating. So just off the top, I want to send a huge congrats to the graduating class of Tom Collegiate and O'Neill, um, among other high schools. If you graduated, congrats to all of you guys. Um, but I just want to add another thing off the top. I'm also competing to be a America's Next Top Hitmaker. So if you guys go and you guys can find it on my Facebook, you guys, I will be trying to post every. Sorry, you guys, I have a cat here, so that came into the screen. But I will be posting the link. Voting opens up on June 1st. So if you would be so kind to vote for me to be America's Next Top Hitmaker, thank you guys. I'd appreciate it. And go follow us on Instagram. You can follow me at Caden Hardy and the Rudder Review at Rudder Review. And if you're feeling gracious, you can follow 13K Productions at 13K Productions. Some notes off the top of the podcast here. The CFL fined the kickers for speaking up against the microchipped footballs. Randy Ambrosie came out and said that it was not the kickers who forced the change. I should note that the fine came after the change of the footballs. The change came because of complaints from the owners. Now, I think it is I'm going to criticize the league here because luckily I won't be fined by them. It was a stupid move by the league to go out there and fine their players for speaking up against a rule that they don't like and hinders their play. I think that is one of the dumbest things that the league could have done. Horrible for PR. I'm baffled by the way the league has treated the situation. Honestly, they have to be better. If the CFL wants to, go out here and find players I believe they also find McLeod Bethel Thompson for his role in, I guess, coming out and speaking against the league for the Elks short week, flying from Toronto to BC on 4 days rest. So, I think that the league just has to do better. If your players don't like something, you got to listen to your players. You can't just throw them under the bus. So, and another thing off the top of the podcast here, former BC Lions receiver and Winnipeg Blue Bombers receiver Lucky Wedhead has signed back with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Phenomenal receiver. Honestly, he's a great guy. From what I've heard, he's been, obviously he's been here a couple times playing in the CFL. I think he's good for the CFL. He creates headlines, and he's a guy that you just like to have on your team. So Winnipeg is 0-4 now as of yesterday, losing to Stampeders 22-19. But it's that's going to be interesting to see how he helps them out. So let's get into reviewing the Rudder game. Luckily, I was able to attend. My dad and I went, and we were in Pill Country there. Had a couple Pilsners and had some snacks there, and it was a nice game to watch with my dad. Riders moved to 3-0 after winning 36-20, but in my eyes, should have been 36-13. Ridiculous by those refs. We'll get into that later. But let's start off here talking the quarterback play. Trevor Harris was 16 of 21 for 177 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. All these stats are courtesy of Rider Nation _ on Instagram. So we give them a follow. I use their stuff, so shout out to you guys. And Shea Patterson, who had to come in the second half after Trevor Harris went down with an injury, was 4 of 10 for 41 yards. Harris looked good. He looked like Trevor Harris, honestly. No news has come out yet about how the injury affected him. I want to say that's how I'm going to phrase that. The most we've heard is that Harris has wanted to go back in. He wanted to go back in the second half, but Coach Mace would not let him go back in. So that's a good coaching moment there for Mace. Even if he is your starter, you're going into a bye week and he's come off the field hurt. I think that's a good move by Mace to keep him off the field. It's good to see what Patterson can do. Now, this team is completely different under Shea Patterson, as I've heard a lot of analysts say. And I agree with that. I agree with that statement. Patterson is 4 of 10, like I said, for 41 yards. I think he's a guy that can lock down a game. I don't think he's a guy that can go in there and start a game and throw for over 400 yards. I don't think that's a possibility. Like that 4 of 10 passing, that's an entire half of him playing. So, I mean, I don't know what you can say. He's a good short yardage guy. He had 2 carries and 3 yards and a touchdown in the game. So that's good. I respect it, getting in there for short yardage in the goal line and getting in the end zone. Speaking of rushing, AJ Ouelette has finally got going. He's got off the ground. Well, I should say he's got on the ground going. He rushed for 98 yards through 20 carries. And throughout the game, you could tell he was a little bit nicked up. You could see him running onto the sidelines. He had a little bit of a limp, but you know what? He's the kind of guy that's going to play through that. And he's going to run right through a wall for your team. That's a phenomenal game by him. He did not, unfortunately, get a touchdown. That would have been nice to see, obviously, because, I went to the game and seeing an AJ Ouelette touchdown would have been phenomenal. But I digress. Look at the receiving stats. We're going to go back to Ouelette here. Ouelette actually led all receivers in yards here. He had 4 receptions for 47 yards. Did not score a touchdown through the air, but you know what? Even if he didn't score a touchdown, he still had over 100 yards of total offense, which is something you love to see from a running back. He's versatile, and it's great, Ajo had 1 reception for 40 yards and a touchdown. His only reception was a touchdown, which is a great sign. Again, like I said it last week, and I believe the week before. Love the kid, Canadian guy. He's a big receiver. I think he's gonna do great things in the CFL. And then Samuel Emilus finally got off the ground. 3 receptions for 39 yards and a touchdown. Emilus, he's one of the best receivers in the league. I don't think you can tell me otherwise, or any Rider fan otherwise. And you know what? Eventually he's going to show up, and well, I guess he has already shown up, but eventually he's going to show out to the entire league, and everybody's going to realize it. I honestly think that's how things are going to go. Sean Bain, 4 receptions for 36 yards. He just continued to do what Sean Bain does. Great guy, friend of the podcast, great football player. I don't think there's much negative you can say about the game he played. And then Jared Stearns. Wow. That's simply all I can say about the guy. I will say another thing here. Who Shea Patterson takes it, who he takes most of his practice reps from. Jared Stearns was 4 receptions for 23 yards. And a lot of those receptions came, I think 3 of the 4, at least half of those receptions came from Shea Patterson throwing him the ball. And you'll notice Patterson, like I said it right as soon as Patterson went into the game, they're gonna get him moving, they're gonna get him out of the pocket, and I think that's a good thing. I don't know if it's just because I'm a huge Madden player, but I'm a huge fan of these mobile quarterbacks, guys who can run and throw on the run, and Patterson is one of those guys. He can throw on the run, and I think him and Stearns have quite the chemistry. He was telling Stearns to move, telling Stearns to get over there, and Stearns would be moving his casa, or I can't believe I just said that live. Anyways, but Stearns was moving. It's great. Yeah, I like the player he is. He is going to be one of the greatest receiver. I think he's going to be one of the best receivers in the CFL. His time is going to come, and everybody is going to. I think us Saskatchewan fans are going to love it. Moving on, defense. Deontay Williams led the team in tackles. He's a young guy. I like them. Not much I can say. He had a quiet game. He did what he was supposed to do, and that's something you like to see from your defense. And then Jameer Thurman came out and had 6 tackles, an interception, a fumble recovery, and a touchdown. That touchdown was a pick 6. Jameer Thurman against his former team. That must have felt amazing. You're playing in a game against your former team. You're picking off Bo Levi Mitchell in Saskatchewan, and Bo Levi is the best guy to hate if you're from Saskatchewan. I would know because I, of course, am a Riders fan. What do you like? Wow. That must have been a great feeling for Jameer Thurman. So shout out to him. Roland Milligan, 6 tackles and an interception. Milligan is quite simply I think he's our best defensive player. Yeah, honestly, last season I think he was out for the final 6 games. I could be completely wrong. Don't fact check me or fact check me. I don't care. But when he's not on the field, this team is completely different. Yeah, like I just that's I don't know what to make of that. Well, I do know what to make of that. Roland Milligan is the best player on this defense, one of the best in the CFL. And then Charbel DeBeer had 4 tackles, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. Charbel DeBeer, he's an interior guy, plays great with the team, great team guy. And DeMarcus Fields, one of our halfbacks there, 2 tackles and an interception for that guy. Bo must have been having nightmares, which is it's not great. Yeah, but like I don't know what to say. Bo Levi Mitchell looked shaken. He was seeing ghosts there. Yeah, wow. And then Christian Albright, 1 tackle, fumble recovery. He's a guy they brought in under the radar last year, honestly. I think he could be a great player in the CFL. Christian Albright is showing all the signs of being a good American guy. Obviously, it doesn't help the ratio, but I think if I looked at the depth chart correctly, they're setting him up as a designated American or designated. Yeah, I think it's a designated American, which is guys who are considered Canadian via the rules. So, I mean, Albright, I think he's going to be one of our, he's going to be a top player pretty soon here. And then Thomas Bertrand-Hudon had a forced fumble on the opening kickoff. That is how you start a game at home. I was, like I said, my dad and I were there, and we look and we're like, we jumped out of our seats for that one. Don't know what else to say. Like, I don't know what else I can say. Like, that's just phenomenal. Like, that's how you start a game at home. And then kicking, Brett Lowther, 2 of 3, and his longest was 34 of 11. And you can't fault him for missing that one. The wind was just absolutely horrible. I don't fault him, at least, and I don't think Rider fans should either. Like I said, Pill Country, it got so windy at one point that one of those beer tents in the back there flew over and attacked people at the top there. So I don't know how much you can really fault him for that one miss. And then Korzak, 7 attempts for 47 yards, and he also had a trick kick there. I think they pulled out the one. I was excited to see that. It was right in front of us there. Yeah, it would have been nice if we would have recovered it. But you know what? Sometimes things don't go your way, and there's just not much you can do. You just got to take it as it goes. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this episode of the Rider Review. I'm working on getting guests. So far, we haven't been really that successful. So, if you want to join the Rider Review, let me know. Make sure you guys leave a comment on the video or message me or DM me. You know where to find me. I have the link, or I have the ads on for Instagram in the bio. So yeah, if yeah, that is it. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. Go follow us on Instagram. And make sure you guys are voting for me for America's Next Top Hitmaker. It'd be amazing to see a Canadian in there. And super excited to be 3-0. Hopefully, we are 4-0 next week after Thursday as the Riders take on the Toronto Argonauts.